Alright, we're midway through January, so instead of making my best of 20 list, I'm going to make a little video. So, my best 20 of 2020 by this 50 something. Alright, so before I get into my favorite 20 of the year, which could fluctuate between the top, any of those could fluctuate anyway. I wanted to talk about a couple releases that are not part of the new release and start off with this. So, this was a Record Store Day release. Jesus People Music. Really like this release. 70s Christian Jesus rock. Really enjoyable. Old music, so it's not in my top 20, but one of my favorite releases. And then anybody that knows me well knows that I love anything from Independent Project Records, and this is no exception. So, Tape Excavation is a release with various artists that have come out on Independent Project, and this is a great release. And it was came out as in conjunction with the book release that goes over all of the Independent Project releases, covers, artwork. Great project. Anyways, love this. Up next, Neil Young. So this is Homegrown, which finally came out this year, and probably one of my favorite Neil Young albums. I'm not known as a huge Neil Young fan, but really like this release. Again, it's not new material, so it can't be in our top 20. One of my favorite bands here, Game Theory, and this release, Across the Barrier of Sound, Postscript, is demos and live recordings and some material from the period after their last album, Two Steps from the Middle Ages. This is material from the band that included Michael Quercio, and this band never made it into the studio for a legitimate release, so this finally came out. Great stuff. And then this box set. So my buddy Steve Wynn, love this quite a bit. Um, 11 CDs, right? Anyways, some great stuff on here. Not new material, but I love this box set. Pretty well done. Then from there, again, not new material. 40 years we've been waiting for this. So, The Last Look Again, great album. They did great work putting this together, and was worth the wait. But really, really, really good work here. And then lastly, might be my favorite release of the year. It's not new material, it's a compilation. Strum and Thrum, The American Jangle Underground, 1983 through 1987. There's a bunch of bands on here that I really like. Kind of early REM, jangly material, but lesser known bands. The Windbreakers, The Reverbs, 28th Day, all kinds of bands, but really well done. This pressing is the on orange vinyl, Record Store Day release. A booklet that's this big orange section right here. Very well done, with quotes from a lot of the band members, and yep, again, probably my favorite release of the year. Which brings us to my top 20 of 2020. I'm gonna start with this one and not say too much about it. This is Taylor Swift, which I did not expect to be on my top 20 of 2020, but alas, it is. And my favorite songs from here: Willow, Nobody, No Crime, Dorothea. But I'll talk more about Taylor Swift later. Number 19, The Third Mind. So this is a project with Victor Krummenacher of Camper Van Beethoven and Dave Allen Blasters. Mostly instrumentals, some great stuff on here. Really good record. And I understand that they're working on a new release, hopefully for 2021. And East West, which is a 16-minute jam, my favorite thing from here. Up next, number 18, another member of Camper Van Beethoven, and this is Greg Leisher. And this is instrumental release, songs from the Imperial Garden. Really like this quite a bit, so this is definitely my top 20 favorite songs. The Exterminating Angel, From the Canyon in the Sea, and what was that other one? Memories of a Childhood Actor. Some of my favorites from here, but really enjoyed this quite a bit. Up next, number 17, band that I've been following for quite a long time, and this is Sparks. and this is their release, A Steady Drip Drip Drip. Um, this is what you could expect from Sparks the last few years. Some of my favorite stuff, Onomatopoeia and I'm Toaster, my favorite songs from here. Which brings us to number 16. Not my favorite cover, Old 97's 12th. You always have a good time listening to Old 97s. This album is no exception. So coming in, number 16, some of my favorite songs in here, Happy Hour, Absence, What We've Got, and the single, Turn Off the TV. Okay, what do we have next? Bob Dylan, Rough and Rowdy Ways. So, thought this was pretty good. I actually am one of the people that do like some of the later Bob Dylan era stuff. This one's no exception, really good. Favorite songs, probably Murder Most Foul. Done as only Dylan can do, but love this quite a bit. Again, Bob Dylan. Also, My Own Version of You is another song that I like quite a bit off this one. And up next, number 14, a band that I liked in the 80s, starting with Turning Japanese, right? And Magnets, their second album, was really good as well. But together, this is great. Really enjoyed this one quite a bit. Single Crazy could have been off one of those early Vapor albums, in my opinion, but like that quite a bit. And then the title track, Together, two of my favorites, but very well done. I hope these guys keep recording. Okay, now number 13, Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution, AC/DC. Brian Johnson back in the band. Didn't expect that would happen. Unfortunately, no Malcolm. Rest in peace, Malcolm. But great album. Like this one quite a bit. Favorite songs, Code Red and No Man's Land. Power Up. Alright. Number 12. Nada Surf and Never Not Together. So this album, enjoy this one quite a bit. Always have liked the melodies with Nada Surf. Every album, there's songs that are super, super catchy. Great melodies. Matilda is my favorite song from this album. Alright, number 11. Before we get to the top 10. Didn't quite make my top 10. But this guy here, Paul McCartney with 3. And who knows if this could be a grower and climb up on my list. But I actually like this one quite a bit. All of these in the top 10. But Paul McCartney, mostly, I understand that he recorded this pretty much on his own. Recorded all the instruments, so good on you, Paul. Keep making these records. Favorite songs, Seize the Day and The Kiss of Venus from here. So now, the top 10. And there are a couple releases that came out that I'm sure would have made my list, but I didn't have a chance to buy. I listened to some stuff on Spotify that I liked, but haven't had a chance to buy them yet. So I'm only putting in my top 20 music that I've actually purchased for the year. So that brings us to number 10, Bob Mould of Husker Du and Blue Hearts. And we got Bob Mould here with his angry self, and he's good when he's angry, and he's angry on this one. So good stuff. My favorite songs, Little Pieces, Racing to the End, Next Generation, American Crisis. But Bob Mould, number 10. Number 9, another band that was had me interested in the 80s, and I wasn't sure what they would do now, but X, Alphabet Land. Again, was surprised to see an old band come back with new music, so I recommend all those old bands get out there and start recording. Be like X, put out some good music. Favorite songs, Goodbye Year, Goodbye, Alphabet Land, and Free. Number 8. Oh, that was number 8. Number 7. And used to be a label mate of mine when he was in his band, Shiva Burlesque, Grant Lee Phillips. And Lightning, Show Us Your Stuff is the name of this album. Like it quite a bit. Great storyteller, Grant Lee. So I turned on Disney Plus, and decided to watch her performing all of these songs live from Folklore. And I'm a sucker for watching people talk about how they wrote songs and what the songs are about. Um, Storytellers was a show that VH1 used to do back in the day. Anything like that, I'm a sucker for. So she got me by telling songs about this album and what they were about. I don't think I can name another Taylor Swift album or song. Not to say that I haven't heard them. Of course, I've heard them. But anyways, I really like these songs quite a bit. And favorites from here, the last Great American Dynasty, Mirrorball, Betty, and Invisible Strings. But listen to this album quite a bit actually. Um, Mentioned Bradley Scott. So coming in at number 3, and these top 3 could easily alternate between them. Wait a minute, did I skip number 9? I skipped number 9 somehow. And how can I leave out Chris Cacavez? Number 9, Chris Cacavez. Digital only release, so I'm holding up my iPad with a picture on it. Chris, love this guy's voice. Former member of Green on Red. This was, so number 9, Chris Cacavez. Favorite songs from here, Shake Some Chains, love that song, and To My Head. Sorry, now we're going back to number 3 with the Bye Bye Blackbirds. So Bye Bye Blackbirds, number 3, Boxer at Rest. Found out about this album from my buddy Matt Pucci from Rain Parade and the Hellenes. Had no idea who they were. I actually had heard the name, but never gave them any time. But Matt said, check them out, you'll dig them. And sure enough, this album has been played quite a bit this year for me. Favorite songs, Watch Them Chime, You're All Right, and All Our Friends. Some of my favorites from here. All right, number 2. Again, this could be number 1, could be number 3. These top 3, love them interchangeably. And it's Dream Syndicate. This album, The Universe Inside, 5 songs. The longest being 20 minutes long. The shortest song on here being, 7, 8, 9 minutes long. So this was born out of a 90-minute jam. They broke up that 90-minute jam into 5 songs. Great. Great musicianship. Really dig the vibe on here. Favorite songs are The Longing, Dusting Off the Rust, with the percussive clangs. And there's only 5 songs on here. I mean, they're all great. What do I say? So, number 1. Number 1 was a digital-only release, but I put this in the number 1 slot because I decided that there's so many great albums in 2020 that I really liked, but what was the one that I listened to the most? And that was this one right here. So Matt Devine, my buddy from Permanent Green Light, in his album A Distant Present. I'm biased. I love Matt, but the music on here is really good, and short power pop songs, I guess. Well crafted songs. Matt's a huge Stones fan, so you can hear some of that in here. I hear a little bit of Tom Petty at times, but anyways, this is the album that I've played the most this year. And my favorite song of the year is Leaving New York City, which is on this. Also, favorites are Rail, compilation tape, You Are My Radio. But Matt Devine coming in at my number 1 spot. So that's my top 20 from 2020 from this 50-something. Take care, y'all.